It's been a busy month for NBA news and fans have many questions. With the NBA 2021-2022 season starting soon, one of the biggest questions fans have right now is the future of Ben Simmons' career. In this video, we'll be discussing that and a few other questions fans might have. So let's begin. What's going on with Ben Simmons and the Sixers? While Ben Simmons may be one of the biggest stars on the Sixers roster right now, it's clear that things aren't going great between the player and the team. Simmons was not appearing on training camp and he wasn't playing in the preseason, and he even put his own house in Philadelphia for sale. Everything pointed towards Simmons leaving the team. The only problem was that he had 4 more years left on his contract with the Sixers. Simmons publicly admitted in August that he was trying to get traded, and to do so, he would miss training camp. While the Sixers did enter trade talks with many different teams, they never reached a conclusive deal. This had both fans and teammates angry at Ben Simmons' unprofessionalism. Neither side really has a lot of leverage over the other in this case. The Sixers don't really have to ensure that Simmons gets on the right team, and Simmons doesn't have to ensure that the 76ers get the best deal possible. So it has less of an all-out standoff between the two parties. What are the ramifications Simmons might face? Regardless of how the deal goes, if it even goes through, Simmons is set to face some expensive ramifications for how he's handled things over the past half year. His decision to skip camp had led to the Sixers' position in the trade, and in turn, Simmons' value as a player weakening. This is one thing that both parties don't want to happen. The Sixers want to get the best trade deal they can, and Simmons has to retain his value as a player, or else he's not going to be pulling the big bucks like he used to. As a punishment for Simmons missing out on camp, the Sixers have put an estimated $8.75 million that they would have paid to Simmons into an escrow account, which is about a quarter of the $31.59 million they'll owe him overall for the season. Regardless of how rich you already are, that has got to hurt. What are some of the possible scenarios that might play out? This isn't the first time that an NBA team has been placed in a predicament like this one. We actually saw something like this happen in 2018 as well, which involved the Sixers as well. Jimmy Butler, who played for the Minnesota Timberwolves at the time, wanted out of the team and was pushing for a trade deal. Started to act up behind the scenes, and when no deal could be reached, was eventually traded for a fraction of his actual value to the Sixers. While the Sixers may have benefited from that deal, they'll be the party in the loss if it plays out that way with Simmons. Another scenario that may as well play out is the one where the two parties settle their differences and Simmons continues to play for the Sixers. Now, this is probably the least likely scenario out of all the possible outcomes, but it's the one that'll cause the least amount of damage for either party. Whatever the case, Simmons definitely has the leverage here. What's the nuclear bomb scenario? And finally, we have the nuclear bomb scenario, and this is the worst possible outcome out of all the scenarios, and it seems to be the one that's playing out. For each day Simmons misses from training camp, he would be fined $309,000. Unclear whether this includes the money that he put in the escrow account, but if it is, it's not great for Simmons. The Sixers would be wasting their time and resources on a player that doesn't even want to play for them, and it seems like this is the scenario that's actually playing out. Will Kyrie Irving be allowed to play this season? Aside from the Simmons controversy, there's also been a lot of controversy regarding a decision that Kyrie Irving has made recently. The Brooklyn Nets guard revealed that he is still unvaccinated against COVID-19, and it doesn't seem like he plans on getting the vaccine anytime soon. This may be jeopardizing his career, as the Nets general manager Sean Marks clearly states that no unvaccinated player will be allowed to play in this season. The NBA had already sent warnings to the Nets prior to this revelation, and they had pointed out that the local laws prevent any unvaccinated player from playing any home games in New York City. Sean Marks released a statement saying Kyrie has made a personal choice, and we respect his individual right to choose. Currently, the choice restricts his ability to be a full-time member of the team, and we will not permit any member of our team to participate with part-time availability. Irving, on the other hand, said that he has promised an exemption to the vaccine rule and didn't foresee the issue arising. He also said that he shouldn't be forced to do anything with his body. He added that he had no intentions of giving up his career or his ambitions, and stated, "Don't believe that I'm going to give up this game for a vaccine mandate or staying unvaccinated." What was the fan reaction to Irving's decision? Fans were mostly apathetic to Irving's decision to not vaccinate. He did receive some support from fans, but the reaction was almost overwhelmingly negative. Many pointed out that he's not forced to play the game, but Irving remained committed to his initial decision. This will likely have a long-lasting impact on not just the Nets this season and Irving's career, but also on Irving's reputation as a player. The media response and hype around the situation has not painted a pretty picture of Irving. and unless he finally decides to get vaccinated, things aren't gonna get any better for him. What are some of the restrictions that the NBA has placed on the players for this season? The NBA is not taking the COVID-19 pandemic lightly, and they've made it very clear with their treatment of Irving that no matter what your status is as a player, you will not be avoiding any of the decisions they make. Vaccinations are mandatory, and an estimated 90% of players have been vaccinated already. Some refused to vaccinate, such as Irving, while others, Andrew Wiggins, who's a vaccine skeptic, said he was forced to receive a vaccine due to the restrictions. Wiggins initially tried to get a religious exemption for the vaccine, but he was denied. LeBron James confirmed he had received the vaccine, although he said it wasn't his job to persuade others to get it. Some of the other restrictions that the NBA placed on the players included a ban on dining with teammates, and the locker rooms have been modified to place the players as far away from each other as possible. Face masks are mandatory for all players, whether vaccinated or otherwise. Will Russell Westbrook be able to fit in with the Lakers? One of the most anticipated teams of this season are the Los Angeles Lakers, with the introduction of Russell Westbrook on their team. Westbrook's fit is probably one of the biggest questions that fans have about the season. It'll be pretty interesting to see how things turn out. LeBron James and Russell Westbrook being on the same team have put the odds in the Lakers' favor when it comes to this season, but we don't even know if the two will be able to complement each other yet. All eyes are on Russell Westbrook, and Lakers fans do not want to be disappointed. In August, Russell Westbrook stated that his role in the Lakers is to make the game easy for LeBron James, who will obviously continue to be the star player for the team. He added that he is incredibly blessed to be given an opportunity to play for the Lakers, and from what we've seen, it seems to be getting along quite well with his new teammates as well. With LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Westbrook on the Lakers, they're now the favorites to win the 2021-22 season. Is this the end of Paul Gasol? Paul Gasol is considered one of Europe's most successful basketball players. He has won the NBA championship twice in 2009 and 2010, both with the Los Angeles Lakers, and the players had no plans for backing down until 2019. He suffered a horrible foot injury on the court. The foot injury ended up cutting the legend's career shorter than he had hoped, and in October of 2021, Paul Gasol announced his retirement from the NBA and the sport in general. He made the difficult decision as there was no way of him ever being able to play like he used to, and at 41 years old, he was nearing the end of his career anyway. He ended things off with a touching post on Instagram captioned, "Dear Basketball, thank you for everything." That's a wrap for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave us a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.